So this topic is going to be very contentious and very controversial, but I'm just going to say it anyways. So you want to avoid single mothers at all costs. And again, some people may view this as kind of piggish or closed-minded or whatever, but I don't care. This is my channel, and I'll say what I want to say. But single mothers is a very messy situation, or it can be a very, very messy situation. So let me go over the details. So number one, you're going to have drama with the baby's father, potentially. Okay, so maybe he's out of the picture, or maybe he's active in the child's life, but it can cause you problems. Okay, so that's number one. So baby daddy drama. Okay, so number two is you'll have to financially take care of the child eventually if you go into a marriage or a long-term relationship. Okay, so you're essentially using your own resources that can be applied to your own offspring into this child, which is another man's child. Okay, and again, some people may find this, you're so close-minded or whatever, but again, it's just factual. Okay, so the fact is that you're spending time and resources on another person's genetic material, right? Their offspring, their progeny, whatever. So in essence, because if you do eventually have children on your own, these resources are going to be taken away from your offspring. Okay, so it doesn't make any sense. So it doesn't make any sense to be supporting another man's child from that standpoint. Okay, and number three, you really have to examine why did this union break up? Okay, so why did her relationship with the father not work? Was she being careless and it was like a one-night stand, or was she being careless about contraception in general, or did she pick the wrong person to become a mate with and produce his child? So there's so many factors that go into this and can give you a negative result. Okay, so it's really something that you should be aware of, and because there's so many
calling the National Domestic Violence Hotline. Your call is extremely important to us. All advocates are currently busy, but someone will be with you shortly. Para Español, oprima dos. For English and all other languages, press 1. Thank you for reaching out to the National Domestic Violence Hotline. We are so glad you contacted us. We're aware that some local services to survivors have been affected by COVID-19 at this time. We want you to know that we are still here to talk to you about your situation 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We can talk with you about how to stay as safe as possible and connect you with the resources we can. We also encourage you to visit our website where we have an article on safety planning and survivors during COVID-19. We look forward to supporting you in whatever way we can. Your estimated survivors have been affected by COVID-19 at this time. We want you to know that we are still here to talk to you about National Domestic Violence Hotline. This is Lou. Are you in a safe place to talk?
Yes, I am at the moment, yes.
Good, okay. This is anonymous and confidential. Whatever we talk about, it does stay between us. And just for a second. Okay, great. Thank you for all of that. What's going on?
Yeah, so, well, I don't know if you would really be able to talk with me about this for very much because, even though I already told you that, I had been in abusive relationships in the past, and I think I am in one at the moment, but that really wasn't, what I wanted to focus on during this phone call, if that's okay.
Well, we our area of focus is intimate partner violence, but we do talk to people about other relationship issues, so...
Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I do appreciate that. Okay. Yeah, and I guess it is really relevant for me because, I feel that a lot of the things that I see, like on the internet, and maybe you know what I'm talking about, you might see these things too, but I feel like it's very triggering and it might be just kind of, exacerbating what I'm going through, or maybe I'm just allowing it to, I don't know, but basically, I'm just seeing like a lot of bullying and a lot of, in the way of victim blaming and victim shaming in videos and, and other social media that I might see online. And, it's really disturbing. And, I don't really know how it is that the moderators of these sites are, allowing all this because it's glaring, bullying and abuse to me. It targets victims and there's just a lot of ignorance to it, and I don't know if you want to hear like about an example, but basically.
Yeah, I'd like to hear an example so I understand what you're talking about.
Okay,
yeah.
Sure, yeah, okay. So well, the particular videos I'm referring to seem to pretty much make women who become single mothers as a result of leaving abusive relationships. This seems to be kind of, the brunt of all of, their ridicule and all of their childish bullying. And there's this one particular man, at the front of my mind right now, and and I'm not kidding in what I'm about to tell you about what he says, but, he just kind of uses the logic that, if a woman becomes a single mother as a result of dealing with an abusive man, then that's partly her fault because she was stupid for getting involved with someone like that.
Oh my goodness. So someone who would make a statement like that clearly has zero idea what they're talking about. Zero. Zero.
Yeah.
And so that might be a part of your approach, like when you see statements like that, just remind yourself this person truly is ignorant of the facts. They don't know what abuse is. And because abusers, in the beginning of a relationship, abuse is intentional, right? And so abusers know when to turn it on, turn it off. Specifically know when to turn it off. Like in the beginning of a relationship, don't let the potential partner see that you're an abuser. Keep it hidden. And then, after a certain amount of time, then start little by little abusing, which is taking your power away, taking your voice away, breaking you down little by little. And so it's systematic, it's intentional. And so to simply say, well, you shouldn't have gone out with them in the first place, that's a complete misunderstanding of the pattern, the dynamics, the intentionality of the abuse. So really, in true layman's terms, that person was a jerk who wrote that.
Yeah, and you know what I mean? The thing is that's so strange about this, and I'm not exaggerating in this next part, I promise you, but he's actually calling himself a dating coach, and he's like on there just bragging, because like he's so supposedly financially successful, and he wrote a book on the subject and everything, and it's really, it's I've looked.
That's sad, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like people would look to him for guidance, and he may think there's no difference between an abuser and an unhealthy partner. Unhealthy partners, they're easy to get away from. There's not this systematic manipulation and breaking down that they're doing. They're simply people who want healthy relationships, but they're not healthy. They're not ready for whatever reason, right? And so giving this person the absolute benefit of the doubt that he doesn't know, that he really doesn't know what he's talking about. And so he's treating every relationship as either healthy or unhealthy, and he's calling abusive relationships and unhealthy relationships, probably using the words interchangeably, I would bet. And so that's really sad that people may be getting really poor guidance from him, but the not for you to take what he has to say seriously because he doesn't know what he's talking about. And somebody who gets themselves out of an abusive relationship, they deserve affirmation and a round of applause and boy, oh boy, that's fantastic. Tell me how you did it, right?
Oh, yeah.
And if you get yourself and kids out of an abusive relationship, not only do you save yourself, you save the next generation because your kids aren't learning that this is okay. So, well, maybe when you see the nonsense online, you can just say, they have no idea what they're talking about. They really have no idea what they're talking about.
Yeah, and, it's really strange, and, and I know that this might also sound not very credible, but I actually have tried to straighten him out on his ignorance. I've written comments to him. I've said, it's really strange that, it's really despicable that you're over here, like, just saying things this stupid, because the real men that I know, they go directly to the abusers and, they tell them to stop abusing these women and these children. They don't re-abuse them all over again like what you're doing. And, and it's people like you, it's just men like you who are the very reasons that these women just continue to be in those types of relationships because you're over them, literally, like he's like calling these. Yeah, he says that these single mothers are trash, and, the men who support him are saying the very same thing, that they're all evil, bad people, that no one should love or date, and all these really...
Sounds like an echo chamber, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Sounds like right, and so that's another thing to keep in mind, like he's attracted, who knows who his audience is? His audience may be full of abusers. You don't know what his background is. He may have grown up with abusers. You don't know whether he's an abuser or not. So in cases like this, and I'm not saying, don't use your experience as a victim of abuse to do good for other people. Absolutely, if you can do good for other people, in whatever way, absolutely. But it sounds like he's not the type of person to listen anyway, right? That arrogance, that I know everything, and look at all these disrespectful men. They all agree with me. Who knows where they're coming from? Right? So maybe that part of the universe you can just spiritually send them wisdom and love, and that hopefully at some point they'll learn. But then maybe for your own wellness, just separate and ignore.
Yeah, I do try my best to. Because I kind of know from experience, that whenever I try to explain these things to them, it's just like, it's as if everything I say just goes through one ear out the other. You would just have to see the conversations I have with them to believe it, I think. Even if I tell them things like, well, I don't think that you understand the full scope, of what victims go through, like many single mothers I know, for example, that, they've gone through a lot of abuse and they tend to gravitate towards, what they're familiar with. Like they don't realize that they deserve any better, and then they just insist that my versions of events, like, just don't happen in the way that they think that they did. They think that they know these women's lives and they know more about them than they themselves do. That's just,
There's such an arrogance. There's such an arrogance in that conversation, right?
Yeah.
Instead of, no one should be abused, and it's unfortunate when somebody winds up with an abuser. No one should stay with an abuser. And, it will be nice if families stay together, but never stay with an abuser. And that's the kind of feedback people in abusive relationships, people who leave abusive relationships should be getting, always, because that's what's deserved. And again, truly, I suspect if I was reading whatever page it is that you're reading, I might look and say, yep, it's a page full of either people in really unhealthy relationships or people who are abusers from your description. Because how could you affirm somebody who's knocking victims of abuse unless you've knocked victims of abuse yourself? So I would, right? So the little club that maybe you just want to, you ever watch that Cold Home remember what the name was? He-Man Women Haters Club?
I think I remember that. It was a long time ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And so maybe when you see knuckleheads make comments like this, you can just go, oh, He-Man, women hater, even though it's not a male-female thing, it's an abuse victim, abuser thing. But still, it's like that small-minded, and, you know, the little rascals were just little children. So they have an excuse, right? But it's that small-minded, ignorant, aggressive behavior, right?
Yeah.
And so maybe just say, well, you know what? I can't change you. I'm not going to change you. So maybe I'll just move on and I'll do good over here and I'll take care of myself.
Yeah, because I know it just doesn't really matter what, I mean, you know, I'm confused about, like, why, because this happens on YouTube, by the way, and, you know, this is where well, not just there, but, you know, many other places, too. It's strange, because I think that Twitter and Facebook would ban this sort of thing, you know what I mean? Like, they you know, this level of bullying, it doesn't seem to be allowed there, but for whatever reason, YouTube tolerates it. Yeah, I mean, but yeah, you know, I know what you're saying. I always step away from it, and even if I get notifications in my feed or comments back from them and whatnot, you know, I know there's really nothing I could do. Like, I mean, they even try to put.
You attempted to educate.
Yeah.
Right? You attempted to point them in the right direction. You know, be a horse to water, right?
Yeah.
They're not interested. This is what serves their purpose and their egos.
Yeah.
And so,
okay.
you know, the one person making it sounds like he's profiting, literally profiting.
Oh, yeah.
So why would he change, right? Why would he change? And the other ones are like, yeah, you're right. Their fault. Well, not an audience that really sounds incredibly edifying. So you tried.
Yeah.
And so it's okay to just move on. It's okay. They're wrong.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, because that's what my gut feeling is telling me too. And, you know, I know that everyone in this hotline, they would never tell, you know, these women and children the things that they are saying. So, yeah, I mean, I really...
terrible.
Yeah, it's why I'm really grateful for hotlines like this, honestly. You know, it's good to know. Yeah.
That's excellent. Have you ever connected with any of the domestic violence centers near you to talk to counselors or support groups or anything like that?
I actually have before, and I found it very helpful. I mean, I've been to, like domestic violence survivors groups, and yeah, the facilitator would always tell me the same thing. It's never your fault. Never listen to anyone who tells you it's your fault. Yeah. So, you know.
Because it truly is.
Yeah.
Truly is. It's not just something that do-gooders say, right? It truly isn't your fault. Abusers intentionally, they turn it on and off at will. They know exactly what they're doing. It's targeted. It's intentional. It's manipulative. And the goal is to break you down. And when you finally get the wherewithal to say, I'm getting out of here, by then, there's a lot of damage already done. So it takes that much more strength and that much more courage for you to get out of an abusive relationship, because you're not at your best, right? You're not at your strongest.
Yeah.
You're getting out at your weakest.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and sometimes women don't. Yeah, and sometimes there are legitimate reasons, like that a woman doesn't leave. Like he might threaten to kill her and the child, or she doesn't have the resources, and or she's even so physically injured that she. I mean, for example, in an extreme case, like her arms and legs are broken from, you know.
So many reasons. So many reasons. I've got little kids. I don't have an income. We're gonna wind up homeless. Okay, so the kids are little. Maybe I'll get us out of here by the time they get into school. Or and you hope that they're able to navigate their way out within a reasonable amount of time, or whatever. The situations are so different one from another. But it's always one partner breaking another, and the broken partner, you know, when they finally get to the point where it's like, I don't deserve this. The kids don't deserve this. This is crap. We're getting out.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Takes a lot of courage. Takes a lot.
Yeah, and of course, I would never pressure anyone to date a single parent. It's just, that's not the part that I'm saying is abusive. It's just the fact that they're just, just sort of propagating all this immaturity and just re-abusing them all over again, and they're even like
these horrible stereotypes, right?
Yeah, and then when there are men in the comment section who actually stand up for these women and say, oh, well, I married a single mother, and I love, her children as my own, so, and even though there are challenges, like, she is none of the things that you were saying, and then these men get defamed and, and put down too, and they shame them too, they just...
I suspect, even though I don't know, but I suspect the specific group of individuals you're talking about here, I would not at all be surprised if a bunch of them turned out to be either abusers themselves or incredibly unhealthy partners.
Yeah, I have to agree. Yeah, these obviously are the ones that people should be warned away from, not the other way around, it just... Yeah.
So what you can do when you have that unpleasant YouTube experience, switch right over to somebody who makes you happy, somebody who makes you laugh, somebody who makes you say whatever, something positive, just to counter that. Because, you know what, don't give them any of your head space, any of your emotional space. Don't give it to them. They don't deserve it.
Yeah,
what they're saying is wrong and unhealthy. And yes, there are charlatans all over who make money off of people's sadnesses, right?
Yeah.
And so, terrible that you came across them, but at least you've got their number and this is nonsense.
Yeah.
So you spoke your truth and maybe you affected one person, two people. That's good.
Yeah, who knows?
Yeah. It's not your place, but one or two, that's all you need.
Yeah, I actually did get a few comments, not many, but I did get a few positive comments back. So that means the whole world to me, even if I just reach one person.
It's a big deal.
Yeah.
It's a big deal. No, it's a big deal because it not only does it mean that you had an impact on their life, but then there are potentially next generations, and it's like that whole lovely butterfly effect, right? You positive. And that's what's going to ripple through the universe. And so, I think that what you're doing is great because you're one of the healthy voices, one of the, the warriors, so to speak, protecting victims, right? And then, we all do it in our own way, and sometimes in little ways, sometimes in big ways, sometimes in the background, sometimes in the front. But you did good just by speaking up. Try not to let it affect you, though. That's the trick.
Yeah, of
Try
course.
not to let it affect you.
Yeah.
To live in the truth of your experience and your knowledge, and really pay attention to your self-care, especially at those moments where you're kind of hurt or bothered, disturbed by other people's ignorance.
It's easier said than done. It gets very, you know what I mean? It's just, it's that knee-jerk reaction. But, ultimately, at the end of the day, I know it's not me. I know it's them. And, even though I will always have those triggering emotions, I think I do have a better handle.
You don't have to always. You don't have to always.
I know.
There are ways to train yourself away from some of it. And so if you just get in the habit of, when you see these things, like saying something out loud like, oh, aren't you a sad individual? To them. I don't have to hear it, but you can say it to yourself. So rather than it bringing all this negative up to the surface for you, just immediately see it for what it is, put it back on them. Aren't you a sad little individual?
Yeah.
Oh, this isn't right at all. You don't know what you're talking about. Like things like that, because then it won't have an opportunity, right, for you to internalize it. You don't want that. You don't want that.
Yeah, I'll try to remember that.
To it.
Yeah.
You're wrong. Something as simple as, nope, you're wrong.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, I'll definitely try to retrain my reactions in that way. Well, it'll take
little by
practice.
little.
Yeah.
Takes practice. Yeah.
Yeah, it
100%.
does. Yeah.
All right. Well, how are you doing today? Are you in a good relationship or no relationship? Like, how are you doing today?
Well, it's complicated, and yeah, just like a lot of these relationships are, and it gets weird sometimes. I'm trying to leave him, but he always cries every time I leave or try to leave. So it gets, I don't know, it's really heartbreaking, but I don't really.
Crying is a manipulation.
Oh.
So if you see somebody as an equal, you're gonna sit down, you're gonna talk to them, you're gonna say, okay, you want to leave, I don't want you to leave. We need to work this out. What's going on? You handle it like an adult who sees their partner as an equal, right? If the response to you saying you want to leave is always some kind of big emotion, like crying, no, that's a manipulation. And it's okay for you to say, okay, you can get the tears out, that's fine, but I still want to leave.
Yeah. It's hard. Yeah. I guess I would like to come to a place to where, I'm not just so heartbroken by it. He's kind of crazy too.
Yeah.
He has his issues, but yeah. But
are you in an abusive? I'm always here to talk to you about it. And
definitely.
Our website is jam-packed with good information too, so the hotline.
Yeah.
Seems I just lost sound. Oh, are you back?
Your voice faded too. I don't know what happened, honestly, but that's weird.
That's really funny.
Sorry about
that. I might be on this end because no worries, technology. But we're always here for you to talk to about it. But,
definitely.
Very important that you just take care of yourself mentally, physically, and spiritually, and that includes when you hear somebody who doesn't know what they're talking about spouting off unhealthy nonsense, you just say, no, you're wrong.
Yeah.
You're wrong.
Yeah, okay.
I'm really glad that you called. You take care of yourself.
Okay, yeah, you do the same. Thank you so much. You've been very helpful, so I really appreciate it.
Yeah,
okay.
absolutely.
All right.
Okay, bye-bye.
All right, bye.